Race number 5 of the first season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series comes to you live from the Phoenix International Raceway, the reconfigured Phoenix International Raceway, where the start-finish line is on the opposite side of the track from where it traditionally was in seasons past. We are getting set here today for 78 laps of racing, sure to be a wild one here in the desert, and a little bit more of an overcast condition than I expected, but it is bloody hot out here, and so you got to think that the track is saturating up the heat and is probably going to be slick for these drivers here today. Whenever we come to Phoenix, there are two things that drivers always say they are lacking: grip and brakes. And it really is going to come down to who's going to manage their brakes the best, I think, especially as we get closer to the end of this race, as to who's going to be able to take home the checkered flag. Also, Phoenix seems to be one of those tracks where track position is so important as well. It's not exactly the easiest place to pass. However, I will state that these drivers did have a testing session, at least a number of them did, prior to the season beginning at this track, and we did see a little bit more passing than I was expecting. So we may end up being a little bit surprised here today, especially with the fact that we are, for the third time this season, running the 2019 rules package. We ran it at Daytona, we ran it at Las Vegas, and now we're running it here today at Phoenix. And we'll have to see how that rules package comes into play and do how much passing we're going to have all the way through the field. J Qualls gets the pole position here today. So far we've had 5 races and 5 different pole sitters. Qualls locked into the Clash at Daytona next season now, as he will line up alongside of our Daytona 500 winner K Friesen. J Qualls coming into this race currently situated in the 27th position in points. He had a chance for a top 20 finish last week when he was involved in a late race crash at Atlanta, so looking to bounce back from that. Let's go down trackside and get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines.
So as the field rolls off, let's give you what your top 10 the point standings look like coming into this race. Jordan Lopez, still the points leader, 29 points in hand over Zach Rogers. Rogers jumped up from 5th to 2nd after a good run last week. Jesse Turner, last week's winner, he's now jumped up to the 3rd position in points. He's 31 points out of the top position, though. 34 points back is William Brock, and Cole Baker right now in 5th. He is 36 points out of the top spot. 7th in the points is J Gardner. Vince Almariego currently in 7th. 8th place after his runner-up finish at Atlanta last week is Matthew Rodriguez. 9th is R Brommer, and Ryan Butcher jumps up into the top 10 for the first time this season. The top 10 in points are separated by 45 points. Now, normally, this would be the straightaway where the cars would be coming to take the green, but this is where the pace car peels off, and we still have a whole half pace lap to go before we do go green flag racing. Jordan Lopez and Jesse Turner are the only 2 former winners up inside the top 10 in points. K Friesen is 17th in the standings, and J Millz last week after another DNF, he is 34th in the points coming to this race. So right now we've only got 3 of our previous 4 winners that would be locked into a playoff position. Green flags in the air, let's roll at Phoenix! Dog leg they go. Look at K Friesen, got a good run on that top side, and he's going to go around for the lead. So that high line might be the preferred line here today, as M Haas moves into 2nd, K Batson into 3rd, and J Qualls down that inside line goes from the pole all the way back to 4th position. M McIntire now on his back bumper for that spot. K Friesen, I believe this is the first time since winning the Daytona 500 that he's been out in front in a race. Things getting a little bit single file here, which doesn't surprise me. You noticed right there K Batson getting down on the apron with 2 tires, got a little loose. I think that's one of the things I remember back in the testing session where we saw drivers make passes with drivers making a little bit of a mess up over there in turns 1 and 2. Here in 3 and 4, not nearly as difficult to traverse, and a little bit more difficult to pass as well. McIntire there in the 5th position. Matt gained 4 spots last week. He's up to 18th in points now after a bit of a struggling start to the season. Benny Watson last week got caught up in a wreck, ran most of the race without a hood, and as a consequence lost 12 spots in the standings, dropped out of the top 10, 19th in points coming into this race. Trying to bounce back, is currently running up inside of the top 10. Pit road's going to be an interesting factor into this race as well. I should mention about that. We've got a good battle going on here between a couple of Ford Mustangs. Dylan Young all over the back bumper of Levi McIntire. This would be for 8th. Dylan Young's teammate Mitchell Collins right behind him. Levi had a good run last week. Gained 6 spots in the standings, up to 22nd in points coming into this one. Dylan Young right behind him, now up to 15th in points. Driver who has struggled last couple of weeks is Mitchell Collins. Mitchell Collins last week, it was a very unusual thing where he and J Millz, they were battling for the race lead. I think it was during the Cycle Green Flag pit stops, if I recall correctly, or just after. And Collins got the wall off turn 2, got into J Millz, and J Millz spun out, and then he got plowed by Julius Andersson. But the top 2 at the time ended up wrecking, and I think that ended up bringing out our next to last caution. So a very unusual wreck, at least it was for me. I was very surprised that that happened. Look at this, we got a battle here. Benny Watson and Matt McIntire. Benny Watson realizing that outside line's got better momentum through turns 1 and 2. Tried to get alongside Matt McIntire, couldn't quite do it. Close in on J Qualls, J Yepez right there as well as Levi McIntire. Those two had a good battle going on. Stupid pace car for the 7th position. J Yepez, last couple of weeks, he looks like he's in line to get a good finish, and then all of a sudden he gets involved in a wreck. And right now he comes into this race in that critical 30th position in the point standings. There's some really big names that are underneath the 30th in points threshold that really need to get it going here if they're going to, at some point this season, get a win and be up inside the top 30 to have it count towards a playoff spot. I mean, some of these names include C Dollerton, Julius Andersson, Benjamin Miles. We also already mentioned J Millz, the winner from Manassas, J Jefferson, Carson Gum, and even the car that's running in second right now, Matt Haas. He's down there in the 37th position in points. Last week, I think, was his best finish of the season, and he finished, I think it was a lap down. Let me see where exactly he finished that race. I remember he was near the front, but he was not on the lead lap. He was first car lap down, 23rd. That was enough to gain him 3 spots in the standings, so he moved from dead last in points to 37th. Looking much better here today, running currently in the 2nd position to Carter Friesen. K Batson right there in 3rd, and it's a bit of a breakaway with the top 3 before you get back to 4th place, J Qualls and Matt McIntire. Then another breakaway before you get to Diego Yepez. So the field's spreading out here, and I think a big reason for that is as the tires have heated up now, these drivers find it a little bit more difficult to get some grip. Cars are starting to slip and slide around a little bit. I'm seeing them backing off a lot earlier going into the corner. As completing your top 10 right now is Zach Rogers. Rogers started off the season really good at Daytona. Got a battle here. Benny Watson trying to get to the inside of Levi McIntire through the dogleg front straightaway. Can't do it. Going back to Zach Rogers, though, as he was right down there on the apron through 1 and 2. Had a great run at Daytona, and then he struggled the next 2 races at Manassas and Las Vegas. Last week, though, had a good run at Atlanta and jumped back up to 2nd in the points, now trying to get the points lead away from Jordan Lopez, who is not up here in the top 10. Let's actually go back and find out where the 38 currently is. Got some good battling here through the field. Charles Sandfer, V Almariego, Adam Garcia. And oh, we got a wreck! There goes Cole Baker off the nose! I couldn't tell who that was. It might have been T Wright, and did that bring out a caution? Yes, it did. Baker saved it, though, looped it around and saved it. They are racing back. I think that was T Wright who spun Cole Baker, and the caution is now out. First time today that the caution flag will wave for a solo car spin on the front straightaway. I would think these drivers, they are going to probably want to hit pit road this lap. Let's see. Especially since tires are going to be very important, and there you go. There's the answer to that question. Carter Friesen is going to lead the line of lemmings to pit road, and we saw it happen live, but we'll go back, take another look at it. Cole Baker spun around, and I'm pretty sure it was T Wright that spun him. Brings out our first caution of the day here at Phoenix. just past the start-finish line. And Cole Baker looked like he wanted to go down on the dogleg apron. He finally does, but watch behind him. Watch the 28. That is T Wright. Gets a big run on him. Tries to go below, and I don't know if Cole Baker didn't know he was there, or did the 28 push up. Might have been a little combination of both, and getting into the left rear quarter panel, spins Cole Baker around, and the fortunate thing for Cole Baker was that he did not hit anything. That spacious inside area allows Cole Baker to fire the car back up, continue on. He crossed the line in the 22nd position. When he came back around, he had lost 11 spots, but at least he still has a car that is not going to be off the pace, and he can try fighting his way back up through the field. But solo spin and a great save by Cole Baker brings out our first caution of the day. We've gotten the 1 to green signal here. Ryan Butcher won the battle off pit road, so he will restart as the leader. A couple of drivers, though, with some issues on pit road. The slick conditions, not only here on the track, but also in the pit stalls. A couple of drivers overshot their stalls, including J Jefferson, Benjamin Miles, and Keith Batson. And as a consequence, they had to teleport back to their pit stalls, and I think they're still sitting there. So that's going to cost them at least one, maybe a couple of laps. And that is a tough break there. So pit road playing a big factor into this race as well. And you got to wonder if that's going to be in the back of these drivers' minds when and if they have to make green flag pit stops. There's Batson, Miles, and Jefferson, and they are all 1 lap down. They might be able to get themselves back on the lead lap here in this restart. We're going to have to wait and see. At least they're all able to still continue, and if we have wrecks, then they'll pick up some spots possibly that way as well. It'll be Butcher over Carter Friesen, Matt Haas in 3rd, James Qualls now in 4th, M McIntire 5th, Diego Yepez, Benny Watson, Mitchell Collins, Zach Rogers, and Levi McIntire. That's going to be your top 10 as we're back green flag racing here at Phoenix. Look at them fanning out there. One of the fun parts about this track, they all fan out 3 and 4 wide going into these corners. As Ryan Butcher is going to get past Keith Batson. There's now a lap car between himself and second place Carter Friesen. Matt Haas there in 3rd, James Qualls in 4th. Matt Haas trying to get a run there through that corner. Boy, that car looked very unsteady through turns 3 and 4. Battle here for the 4th position. Diego Yepez trying to get the run on the top side on James Qualls. Can't do it. They're wadded up here with Benjamin Miles and J Jefferson. This is a battle for 6th between Matt McIntire and Mitchell Collins. Benny Watson lost some spots. Levi McIntire got around him. So now drop Watson back to 9th. And I believe J Wright just took the 10th position away from Zach Rogers. J Millz up in this battle as well, right now going for 11th, and he'll take the spot from the 6th of Zach Rogers. Now Michael Norman, he's looking for 12th. Look at them all wadded up here. Wow, this is a really, really big bunch of race cars as they're all trying to get around the outside line. Matt Haas got wadded down there, as did Levi McIntire. Collins going to go around for a spot. And they're almost 3 wide here into turns 3 and 4. This is a battle right now for the 7th position between Haas, Watson, and McIntire stuck down the bottom. Has to give up a number of positions. I think that just dropped him out of the top 10. Further up front, Carter Friesen possibly under fire from James Qualls. That would be for 2nd place now. Friesen trying to get by Keith Batson, who is a lap down right now in the 38th position. Batson was up in 3rd before the pit stops. Look at Qualls making a move down to the bottom, trying to run the apron. Can he make it work off the corner? Friesen's going to get the outside line run. Qualls has to slot back in 3rd, at least for now. He might try again down here in 3 and 4. And running about a half groove lower than Carter. And boy, the trouble with running the bottom here at this track is it's just so difficult to get back to the throttle. And now Diego Yepez, after Qualls lost that momentum, here he comes now for the 3rd position. There might have been a bump into that corner there by Yepez. Carter Friesen wants by the lap car of Keith Batson, who really had to check up there in the center of the corner. 2 of them will be alongside each other. Let's see if Carter Friesen can make the inside line work. Look at James Qualls. Big run into turn 3. Friesen complete the pass on Batson, not quite this time, and Batson's going to get around him. Here comes Qualls now, and Diego Yepez and M McIntire. Qualls jumps down to the bottom line. Looks like the bottom can work through 1 and 2 if the car on the outside line has to check up like we saw happen earlier with K Batson. But I don't think that inside line works at all through 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is a much tighter corner in terms of handling, especially as you get into a longer run. Saw Benny Watson almost fall outside of the top 10 moments ago. He's fought his way now back up to the 7th position. J Millz, good run for him. Our winner from Manassas right now in the 8th position. Really needs a good run today. Zach Rogers currently in the 9th spot as he just got around M Haas and dropped Haas back to 10th. And then it's a dogfight from 11th on back. T Wright, Charles Sandfer, William Brock, Levi McIntire in this group, along with Jesse Turner, last week's winner. Michael Norman back there as well as Adam Garcia. This is where the fun battling on track is going on right now as things are really wadded up just inside of the top 10. Whoa, William Brock, big run through that corner. He's going to go around the outside of Charles Sandfer. That is a pass for the 12th position. Give it to the 88. Boy, he figured out how to use that high line through 1 and 2. Sandfer trying to get him back here in 3 and 4. Can't do it. And now Levi McIntire under fire from Jesse Turner. Going to turn back that challenge. Here comes William Brock now trying the inside line through 1 and 2. T Wright around the outside of M Haas. And he's going to get the spot. So T Wright's going to move into the top 10. Here comes Charles Sandfer with a big run. He tried to get around the outside of William Brock for 12th. Couldn't do it. Now Levi McIntire looks to the inside for 13th. They're almost pushing each other there through the dog leg. They're that close sometimes. Now William Brock down on the inside again, trying to get M Haas. Second time he's tried getting the inside line going through 1 and 2, and second time he is, well, I was going to say not going to be successful. He almost had a quarter panel to the inside of the left rear going down that straightaway. He almost made the inside line work off the corner. William Brock may have one of the best handling cars out here right now. Problem is, he's mired back in 12th place. If he were able to get closer up to the front, we could have a pretty good battle with William Brock trying to get to the lead. Up further towards the front, this is the battle for 7th. J Millz, M McIntire, and Zach Rogers, just behind Benny Watson. And Ryan Butcher has lost the lead. Carter Friesen has gone back to the point. And Butcher's under fire for 2nd. And I saw the 12 of Adam Garcia on pit road, and that's why. Caution is out. And I have the feeling the 12 is the reason for this yellow flag. Carter's going to want to wait for that pace car. If he doesn't wait, he's going to end up getting penalized. There we go. So Carter Friesen battled back. Not only got past the lap car of K Batson, actually. Oh, Chris Dollerton, Ryan Brommer are in trouble. I think Batson might still, I think he might now be back on the lead lap. I think he might have been ahead of the leader when the caution came out. And Ryan Butcher hits pit road from the 2nd position. Carter Friesen, J Qualls, and others stay out. So some varying strategy here, but I saw Dollerton, I saw Ryan Brommer on pit road. So they were involved in the wreck, along with the 12 of Adam Garcia. There you see him. So the caution is out once again here today at Phoenix. Let's go back and see what happened. Well, as I look back, Ryan Brommer's damage actually had nothing to do with the wreck that we're going to see here. This was a battle for 15th place between a couple of Fords. Jesse Turner, last week's winner, Adam Garcia. Garcia tries to do the swing around the outside, tries to do the slingshot, just misjudged it, gets into the right rear quarter panel of Turner, and it's his car, Garcia's, that spins around and gets caught there in that outside wall. Now, I'm a little curious about how the 43 of Chris Dollerton ended up getting all the damage he did. There's the 43. Let's see if something happens up here. Well, there's a lot of cars spinning or slowing up here and almost losing it as a result. And watch maybe the 09 of K Mathews. Yeah, also Ryan Acosta. They got too far down there on the apron. Their cars snapped around. And Dollerton had absolutely nowhere to go. And there you see Ryan Brommer. Oh, well, okay, there you go. Ryan Brommer was involved in that. He had damage earlier prior to that from probably running to the back of somebody and having to check up, but he got more damage there. And so the caution came out for Adam Garcia getting caught into the outside safer barrier after spinning, but Dollerton, Acosta, Mathews, and Ryan Brommer all also sustained damage in a follow-up wreck over in Turn 1. That's to put us under the caution for the second time here today at Phoenix. Let's go back for the green. And as a matter of note, K Batson was indeed ahead of the race leader Carter Friesen when that caution came out, so he is back on the lead lap. Benjamin Miles and J Jefferson, they are still both trapped a lap down, and they will restart on the inside line here. Carter Friesen decided to stay out, as did a number of other drivers here, so probably planning to pit under green and thinking that the other drivers will have to pit before this race is over. Ryan Butcher gave up the race, or the second position rather, to come to pit road under this caution. So Friesen lines up the leader, J Qualls in second. Third place is going to be D Yepez. Mitchell Collins in fourth, Benny Watson fifth, and it's Matt McIntire, Jose Millz, Zach Rogers, Charles Sandfer, and Levi McIntire. After that wreck that we saw take place, there are three cars that are out of the race. They are Adam Garcia, Chris Dollerton, and Ryan Brommer, and they're still scoring the 39 off the lead lap, which I don't understand. I'll see if I can figure that out in just a moment. I don't know why he would be a lap down again when he was on the lead lap when we got that caution. Green flag is back in the air here at Phoenix. They're fanning out again on this front straightaway. Top two, maybe top three, going to get clear of the lap car of Benjamin Miles. Mitchell Collins trying to do the same, and I think we might be under caution again. We are indeed. Yellow flag out again. J Qualls going to try and take the lead, and he's not going to be able to do it. As Carter Friesen will lead us under our third yellow flag of the day. Let's see where this incident might have taken place at. I don't see any lingering smoke. But it's going to involve the Sunchips Chevrolet of Trent Dunham, who had a great run last week at Atlanta. Jack Mitchell is on pit road. And a lot of rear-end damage on Matt Haas. Also front-end damage on the 28 of T Wright. Seth Cole's got some damage as well in the 77. Is there damage on Carson Gum? Looked like there might have been. Yeah, a little bit of front-end damage on the nose of his machine. And Shelton looks like she may have been run into the backup just a little bit. Might have a little bit of rear-end contact there. As all the leaders are hitting pit road this time. We'll have to see if Ryan Butcher decides to stay out. Remember, he came to pit road on the last yellow. Got some drivers staying out. Yep, Johnny Gardner, Jesse Turner, Ryan Butcher. They're all going to, with the aid of this caution, cycle back to the front. Jessica Shelton stays out, as well as Matt Haas. And if these drivers here do not come to pit road, Miles, Jefferson, and Batson, who I think all pitted on the last caution, they would restart ahead of the leaders, I do believe, and have a chance maybe at a quick caution and get back on the lead lap. So Johnny Gardner is going to be the leader when we go back green, it looks like, after some pit strategy plays out in their favor, gaining track position for himself, Turner, Butcher, and others. Let's go back and see what happened to bring out our third caution of the day. This was on the restart. Trent Dunham restarted in the 20th position. Now let's see what the contact's going to happen. That's Wyatt Quayle rather, to his outside. Dylan Poteet behind him. Julius Anderson ahead. Oh, looked like... Wow, Trent really had to lift. And Poteet was full throttle and ran him over. But, I mean, Trent, you could see the sparks coming out from the exhaust system. That's a car either downshifting or really laying off the throttle. And Poteet really had nowhere to go. And there you see them all just start flying in. Nowhere to go for Mitchell or T Wright. Carson Gum, there's where he gets his hit. Look at Jessica Shelton sliding through. My goodness. She has had so many near misses in the last couple of weeks. And boy, a lot of damage on Mitchell. A lot of damage on T Wright. Their days may be over. Oh, Shelton did spin. She was down there on the apron. The thing just snapped around on her. So she did go up into the outside wall. There's Matt Haas spinning as well. Ryan Butcher got a tiny piece of that, I think. He stayed out. We saw he's going to restart in the 3rd position, but I think he got a tiny bit of that wreck, as did Seth Cole in the Stand Up to Cancer Toyota Camry. Don't know if Jesse Turner got a piece of it or not, but that's what brings out the caution for the 3rd time here today. A little bit of a stack up there on the restart. Well, one driver that's hoping that we have another quick caution is Keith Batson. He decided to stay out, so he will restart ahead of the race leader, which is J Gardner. If Batson can stay ahead of J Gardner and get another caution, he'd be back on the tail end of the lead lap. Still trying to figure out how he was still a lap down, but nonetheless, 2 laps down now are Benjamin Miles and J Jefferson. They were a lap down originally, and then they decided to come to pit road again. I wonder if those 3 drivers, Batson, Miles, and Jefferson, if they're just in those pit stalls where you have that glitch and they lose a lap each time they pit. I'm not sure. Well, the drivers that decided to stay out, they are going to line up 1st through 6th. And that is J Gardner, Jesse Turner, Ryan Butcher, Matt Haas, J Shelton, and J Millz. Carter Friesen, who is the first car on fresher tires, lines up in 7th, J Yepez in 8th, Mitchell Collins 9th, and James Qualls in 10th. There you see Jefferson and Miles still on pit road, just now getting service. So yeah, I think the 39, the 5, and the 25, unfortunately, they got the pit road glitch boxes. We're now past the halfway point of this race. And I think the caution may be out again. These restarts proving to be a little bit of a hassle now. We had 2 really good starts, and now we're having consecutive cautions. And Keith Batson is ahead of J Gardner, so he'll be back on the lead lap. Really surprised that we're having, especially with single file restarts, we're having this issue with, getting back into a long green flag run. Let's see who was involved in this one. Ryan Acosta, Cole Baker. We got a little bit of a stack up here going into turn 1. Looks like it was just 2 cars, potentially. Baker, who had that solo car spin for the first caution of the day, and Ryan Acosta, who got caught up in, I think it was the 2nd caution of the day, and everybody's coming to pit road again. Nobody's rolling the dice to stay out this time. So, as everybody comes to pit road, let's go back and see what happened to Acosta and Baker for our 4th caution of the day at Phoenix. This looks somewhat similar to what we saw happen with Trent Dunham on the last caution. Cole Baker running down there on that inside line. He's got Dylan Young trying to get to the inside of him, and then when they get through this area, Cole had to check up a tiny bit. I think maybe he was checking up to tuck in line behind Jordan Lopez, and Dylan Young, he was trying to get a position, so he wasn't going to lift, and spins the 18 around. Carson Gum near miss on his teammate, and where is Ryan Acosta? There he is. Oh, Poteet just misses. Acosta tries to turn up, can't turn up in time. And, oh, Baker's just going to clip his teammate Seth Cole there and spin the 77 around as well. Cole going to slide up there in turn 1, and he saves it. Doesn't hit anything. But, yeah, it looks like we're having some issues with some drivers checking up there in the center of the dogleg front straightaway, and other drivers, they're going in full throttle, not realizing the checkup's going to take place, and that's been the reasoning for our 2 last cautions here so far today. So maybe if drivers are a little bit more mindful of the checkup points, we may be able to get into a green flag run to maybe finish out this race. We'll have to wait and see, though. Well, after that wreck, we have more drivers in the garage area. Ryan Acosta looks like he'll finish the day out in 34th, and Cole Baker will finish in 33rd. We got some more drivers that are off the lead lap. I don't know if it's due to pit stall glitches or not. J Millz and Matthew Rodriguez are now 1 lap down. Keith Batson still a lap down as he got back on the lead lap, but he's got that pit stall glitch. And 3 laps down to Benjamin Miles and J Jefferson. So 27 cars still on the lead lap of 32 that are running. J Gardner was the leader when they made their pit stops. He came out as the race leader over Ryan Butcher. M McIntire is in 3rd. Matt Haas in 4th. Shelton in 5th. Then it's Charles Sandfer, Carter Friesen, Diego Yepez, Jesse Turner, and Levi McIntire. That's your top 10. Green flag back in the air here at Phoenix. Let's see if these drivers can keep it clean and green at least for a little bit here and not have another wreck on the restart, as J Jefferson picked a doozy of a time to come back on the track. So far we're still green. And it looks like we are green. Okay, so we ended up finally getting a restart where the drivers weren't running each other over. So now let's see if we can settle into a long green flag run and see now if these drivers can make it the rest of the way on fuel and tires, or are we going to have a bit of a strategy race in the closing stages? Top three, single file and clear of lap traffic. Then you've got a couple of lap cars, J Jefferson and Matthew Rodriguez, before you get back to fourth place Matt Haas and fifth place Jessica Shelton, who both have some damage. Matt Haas's damage is quite visible as whole rear end housing is pushed in. Shelton not nearly as visible damage, though we know that she does have some damage from sliding up into the wall in turn 1. Then you got Charles Sandfer, her teammate, here in 6th, in a battle for 7th. Give it to Jesse Turner as he's going to get around Carter Friesen. Move Friesen back to 8th. 9th place right now, Mitchell Collins, and J Qualls trying to hang on to 10th. He got down there on that apron, and that opened the door on the top side for J Yepez, and he's going to swing around, and he'll get into the top 10 now, I think. See if he can clear for the spot through turns 3 and 4. Yes, he will, and here comes Julius Anderson. He's going to try and take 11th place, and he'll get it. James Qualls trapped down that inside line, not a whole lot of momentum. And now he's got a rear deck lid completely full of Jordan Lopez, our points leader. Zach Rogers, second in the standings right there as well, so 1-2 in points, running in 13th and 14th. McIntire waiting to see what happens there. Let's go back up closer to the front, see if any battling's going on. Yeah, Jesse Turner is a man on a mission. He got around Carter Friesen for 7th. Now he's going to take 6th from Charles Sandfer. Looking for back-to-back victories is Jesse Turner. And Turner's got a fast race car right now, and that car is wound up on the top side, no doubt about that. Closer up to the front of the field. Ryan Butcher looked like he was making a move maybe towards the inside of Johnny Gardner for the race lead. Can't do it. Matt McIntire right there as well. Look at these 3 drivers. All of them haven't won yet this season, but all of them have varying stories as well in where they are in points. Johnny Gardner is 6th in the standings. Ryan Butcher is 11th, and Matt McIntire is 18th. So all of them with a victory would probably at this point in time put themselves into a playoff position. This, Matt McIntire trying to get that inside line going through 3 and 4, and they were almost 3 wide through the front straightaway. J Jefferson, the lap car, thought about making it 3 wide, wisely backed out of it though. And Matt McIntire loses a little bit of ground to Ryan Butcher as a result. This is not a battle for position between these 2 lap cars. J Jefferson is 3 laps down. Matthew Rodriguez is 1 lap down. Let's drop a little bit further back, see if we got any battling going on. This is a battle for the 7th position. Charles Sandfer and Carter Friesen. Friesen trying to keep himself up in the top 30 in points with his Daytona 500 victory to get himself a playoff position. Charles Sandfer, his last couple of races have actually been really good. Back at Las Vegas, he had a 3rd place run, and last week at Atlanta, he finished in 15th, so much better finishes than what he had to start off the season at Daytona and Manassas. Right now, running up inside of the top 10. Mitchell Collins now on the back bumper of Friesen, trying to take 8th place away, and J Yepez right back behind these 2. Sanford's got some damage, I noticed there on the left side of his race car. Don't know where that came from, but one thing about Phoenix is you don't necessarily have to have the fastest car to win this race. The straightaways, you do kind of need a little bit of straightaway speed, so you want, the engine to be at peak performance, but as far as like cosmetic damage and everything, there's really not a whole lot of aerodynamics that come into play, especially with how little banking there is here, so it's not really that much of an issue for these drivers if they have a little bit of damage on the cosmetic side. As this is a battle here, and it's over. Shelton will take 4th from Matt Haas, and Jesse Turner now going to try and crack into the top 5. Matt Haas got himself down there on that inside line, and now he's losing some spots, dropping from 3rd back to 6th. From 4th back to 6th, I should say. Shelton now moving into 4th place. Turner now up to 5th. Meanwhile, J Jefferson, Matthew Rodriguez, a couple of lap cars side by side, and Johnny Gardner has been able to scamper away. Gardner had over a second advantage between himself and Ryan Butcher. Let's see if the gap increases or decreases. Looks like Gardner's got a pretty good car out in front in that clean air. Gained another 10th as the battle is on for second between Butcher and M McIntire. Comes Matt with a big run down the bottom. He's going to put all 4 tires below the yellow line, and he's not going to get very much momentum off the corner for sure. Matthew Rodriguez, his teammate right there in the 57, a lap down, did not go to the outside line there and try and pass the Mac Tools Chevrolet, allowing M McIntire to wind it up, try again to try and get up there and battle Ryan Butcher for that runner-up spot. So now up here, Johnny Gardner with nearly a 1.3 second lead. Do you start saving a little bit of fuel here maybe? Because I'm almost certain when we went back green, I think we had like, what, 34 laps to go, something like that. I think that these drivers are going to have to pit again before this race is over. And it could come down to that green flag pit stop as to who's going to win this race. Ford so far has won the last 3 races. Jesse Turner last week, Jordan Lopez at Las Vegas, and J Millz at Manassas. And so right now, with Johnny Gardner out in front, the odds of them going 4 in a row looking very good. So far, Ford has 3 wins, Chevrolet has only 1 win, and Dodge and Toyota, they're yet to have a win. As a matter of fact, there are no Dodges or Toyotas up inside of our top 10 right now. Gardner, either he's not lifting or Ryan Butcher just does not have the car Johnny Gardner has out there in that clean air, because it's now a second and a half. Gardner back to Butcher. Ryan Butcher has managed to get himself clear of battling with anybody though, as looks like M McIntire might have slipped up and his teammate Matthew Rodriguez got by him, so Matt Rod a lap down. It's kind of blocking in his teammate from getting up here to battle for second place. Matthew Rodriguez, after that runner-up finish last week to Jesse Turner, he's now a lap down in 28th. Here he is now trying to get by Ryan Butcher. This would not be for position, and it would probably, more than anything, help Johnny Gardner. Meanwhile, Jessica Shelton there, possibly under fire from Jesse Turner, who I think may have the fastest car here today. Between him and Johnny Gardner, although I think Gardner has the advantage of clean air to help him as far as his lap times. Jesse Turner is turning some really good lap times, and he's back here in traffic. Let's actually look and see who's turned the fastest lap of the day. I'll be very surprised if the 14 and the 47 are not 1 and 2. Wow, nowhere close. Fastest lap of the day was laid down by K Batson. Matt Haas was second fastest, Benny Watson, Carter Friesen, and Benjamin Miles. Right now, Gardner has the 15th fastest lap on track, and Jesse Turner the 25th fastest lap on track. So as far as fastest lap laid down, it does not correlate into how fast the 14 and the 47 really have been overall today. As Matthew Rodriguez is going to get away from this battle for second place, which still is ongoing between Ryan Butcher and M McIntire. You saw right there through that corner, M McIntire really having to play with the brake through 3 and 4. Well, he gets a really good run down the straightaway, though. Thought about going to the inside of Ryan Butcher. You saw Butcher able to get back to the throttle sooner through the center of that corner out of turn 2. McIntire running a little bit lower on the straightaway there. That might actually hurt his entry into the corner. That might actually be why he's getting such a run off the corner, is he's able to kind of diamond it a little bit, drive it in deep, let it ride up off the corner in the center of 3 and 4, and then get back to the throttle and get the good run down the straightaway. See, again, he's right on the back bumper of Ryan Butcher. He just can't quite get to the left rear quarter panel, and to be honest, he's picking a pretty bad corner to try and do it as well over in 1 and 2, where we've seen already today that the outside line is more preferred. I mean, if he gets that run, maybe try and jump it up to the high side, try and get to the right rear quarter panel of Ryan Butcher, but so far that's not what he's doing. Let's drop back, see if we got any battles here inside of the top 10, and, well, right back here for the 10th position is a good one. Charles Sandfer has drifted back a little bit, losing some positions to Diego Yepez and J Qualls. Now he's under fire from Mitchell Collins. Sandfer in 10th, Collins in 11th. Levi McIntire back there as well, trying to see what opens up. Julius Anderson and Benny Watson also J Qualls looked like he might be thinking about going for the 8th position on Diego Yepez. Look at this. Jumping up to the high side. Oh, got a little tight there in the center of the corner. Could not get the momentum off the turn. Oh, he's looking though. Not quite going to be able to get there. He almost got to the right rear quarter panel. We're side by side up here. This is Carter Friesen and Jesse Turner. And Friesen's going to make the pass on the 48. That was a battle for 5th. So our Daytona 500 winner back up inside the top 5. Meanwhile, Jessica Shelton has gotten up into this battle for 2nd. Matt McIntire took the spot from Ryan Butcher, and now Shelton wants the 3rd spot. Jessica Shelton comes into this race 12th in the point standings, and I'll tell you what, she last week, to me, was one of the most impressive drivers. We ended up having a caution, I think it was with around, I'm trying to remember just how long it was that we had. I can't right off the top of my head remember how many laps we had left to go. It was the wreck, I believe, with Mitchell Collins and Jose Millz wrecking for the lead. I don't remember what lap that was on. Shelton at the time was just ahead of the leaders on the tail end of the lead lap. And when the caution came out, she was able to get back on the lead lap. She is going to go around for the 3rd position on Ryan Butcher, so move her into the podium. So restarted in the 22nd position, last car in the lead lap, and made her way up to finish 9th in the overall finishing results. Passed 12 cars in the final few laps of that race. That, to me, was one of the most impressive performances late in a race so far this season. Right now, she is looking really good here, as she is now hounding Matt McIntire. That would be for the runner-up spot. Jose Millz makes a pass on Ryan Butcher. That's not for position. Millz is a lap down. Diego Yepez, J Qualls, that battle continuing on for the 8th position. Charles Sandfer battling with K Batson, who is a lap down, trying to hang on to his 10th spot. Mitchell Collins just lost 11th to Levi McIntire. Here comes Yepez. Battle between a couple of teammates here. This is for 7th. Looks like that rear end damage finally coming into play for Matt Haas. And Haas will now drop back to the 8th spot. Ryan Butcher looks like his handling's going away. He lost 2nd to Matt McIntire, 3rd to Shelton, and now he's under fire from Carter Friesen. So we're now seeing who can serve their tires and who can serve their brakes. Wow, Carter Friesen, what a move down to the inside there going into turn 1. That might cost him though. Look at Jesse Turner around the outside. And Turner will take the 5th position back. Friesen had so much momentum down the straightaway, I don't think he knew what to do with it. Made the evasive move to the inside, and it comes back to bite him. And we're watching all this battling going on, but it's going on about 4 seconds behind Johnny Gardner, who now is under fire from Matthew Rodriguez. Matthew Rodriguez may be a lap down, but he was able to run down Johnny Gardner. And next time by, it's going to be 8 laps to go. Does Gardner have the fuel necessary to make it back to the checkered flag? Has he been saving? With the interval as big as it is, something says no, to me anyway. Does anyone have the fuel to make it? Or will it come down to a fuel strategy race in the closing stages? We've had too many yellow flags to be able to determine whether or not the fuel window, or what the fuel window is, so we're kind of left holding the bag here as far as knowing just how far these drivers were able to go. We went back green, I'm pretty sure, with 34 laps to go. And Matthew Rodriguez now, I think, just raced his way back onto the lead lap as he just went around the leader, Johnny Gardner. I think Gardner purposely let him go, realizing Matt Rod has the faster car. Matt McIntire still slotted in 2nd, Shelton in 3rd. Jesse Turner up to 4th. Carter Friesen in 5th as Ryan Butcher is really free-falling now. He's got Diego Yepez behind him, J Qualls. Matt Haas right there as well as Charles Sandfer. That is your top 10. So from 6th on back to 10th, really good battle going on here. But again, the question of can these drivers make it on fuel? Levi McIntire right there in 11th place. Mitchell Collins currently in 12th. How about Vince Almariego? Good run for the 42. 7th in the points coming into this race. Well, we have a side-by-side battle ahead of him, but we don't. Julius Anderson there in 14th. Good run for at least 3 of the unknown motorsports cars. You've got Yepez in 7th, you've got Matt Haas in 9th, and Andersson there in 14th. Right now, Benny Watson is in the 15th position. J Shelly, been a very quiet, consistent run today in 16th place. Battle on for 17th. Michael Norman gonna get it. Jordan Lopez, the points leader, falls back into 18th. 19th, Zach Rogers, and Austin LaPlante right now in 20th. I think he started near the rear of the field, and he's going to move all the way from 20th up to 18th with that pass right there on Zach Rogers and Jordan Lopez. Carter Friesen back around Jesse Turner. So Friesen back to 4th. And he'll pass J Jefferson as well. Now he sets his sights on 3rd place M McIntire. Johnny Gardner next time around. It will be 3 laps to go here at Phoenix. And he has led off in terms of his lap times. Last couple of laps, you can see that Matthew Rodriguez has really gapped him. Johnny Gardner was running lap times in the low 29s. He now is running 30.1s. Trying to milk it around, trying to have enough fuel to make it, and he's having to pit. Johnny Gardner to pit road. Shelton's going to stay out. Carter Friesen had to pit. And it is going to be a fuel strategy race. Jessica Shelton, does she have enough fuel to make it? She will see 2 laps to go here at the line. Turner in line to maybe get his 2nd win in a row. He's in 2nd. Yepez is in 3rd. Qualls in 4th. Sandfer in 5th. Can Shelton make it, or is she going to have to pit? Looks like she might be slowing. Nope, she's staying out. Turner stays out. Yepez, Qualls, they're all staying out. They're going to risk it. Johnny Gardner could not make it on fuel. Almariego, Shelly, they had to pit. Ryan Butcher's on pit road, as the white flag was just displayed for Jessica Shelton. Matt McIntire coming off pit road. Carter Friesen coming off pit road. They couldn't make it. Jessica Shelton, does she have enough fuel to make it back around to the start-finish line? Not going to battle with Carter Friesen. He's got fresher tires, I think. Oh, she's going to go to the inside on him. And through 3 and 4, Jessica Shelton's going to have enough fuel to make it. She's going to get her first win of the season here today at the Phoenix International Raceway. Well, I think so far this season we could call Jessica Shelton the miracle worker, at least based off of the last 2 races. Last week, fought her way from last car on the lead lap, 22nd, up to a top 10 finish of 9th. And here today, she was caught up in an earlier wreck, was up into the outside wall, used pit strategy to her advantage. I think the wreck she was involved in, she stayed out that caution, restarted 5th, stayed up in the top 10 all day long, and had the fuel to get there at the end. How about that? What a finish here today. A fuel strategy race in the closing stages at Phoenix. Shelton will get the win. That's the 2nd win of the season for Chevrolet, and Shelton, who came into this race 12th in the points, this will put her in position for a playoff spot now. Jesse Turner, 1 week after his victory, he will finish runner-up, so he has been on a streak of good finishes as of late, and I'm trying to look and see. Zach Rogers was 16th, Lopez 13th, so I don't think Turner's going to take the points lead, but he'll be very close to make it a good battle heading into next week's race for sure. Diego Yepez, a great run for him, well-needed run as he's been struggling the last couple of weeks. He's going to bring it home in 3rd. J Qualls started on the pole. He'll finish the day out in 4th, a great run for him. And Charles Sandfer, 2 of the Retro Racing Enterprises cars, will finish in the top 5, so he'll bring it home in 5th. Levi McIntire was able to have enough fuel to get a 6th place run. Mitchell Collins in 7th. Julius Anderson was 8th. Benny Watson 9th. And Austin LaPlante will finish the day out in the top 10. Then it was Michael Norman in 11th. Dylan Poteet brings it home in 12th. 13th place was the points leader Jordan Lopez. Kyle Mathews 14th. So all 3 of the RRE cars finished in the top 15. And Carson Gum will bring it home in 15th. Rest of the cars that finished on the lead lap: Zach Rogers 16th, William Brock 17th, Wyatt Quayle in 18th, Dylan Young 19th. We saw Matthew Rodriguez able to race his way back onto the lead lap. He was able to stay out as well, so he brings it home on the lead lap in the 20th position. And then it was Johnny Gardner, J Millz, and Carter Friesen, the rest of the drivers that finished on the lead lap. Johnny Gardner having to pit from the lead with 3 laps to go. Then everybody else finished off the lead lap or out of the race. M McIntire, who was up, I think, in 3rd or 4th when he had to pit. Ryan Butcher was up in the top 5 when he had to pit. M Haas was up in the top 10 when he had to pit. Almariego, Shelly, they had to pit when they were running up inside the top 20. K Batson finishes 29th. Seth Cole in 30th. J Jefferson and Benjamin Miles each finished 3 laps down. They had those pit stall glitch areas, and that cost them a good run here today. And then out of the race were the cars of Cole Baker, Ryan Acosta, T Wright, Trent Dunham, Jack Mitchell, Adam Garcia, Chris Dollerton, and Ryan Brommer. But Jessica Shelton gets the first win of the season for herself, first win of the season for Retro Racing Enterprises, second win of the season for Chevrolet, and so far 5 races, 5 different race winners. And what a race we had here today at Phoenix. A lot of battling for position did take place. I said that we saw in testing with the rules package, there was a lot of battling for position through the field. That was definitely the case here today. It was not a single file fest, and a pretty exciting race as well with a really exciting finish. Hope you guys enjoyed this race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We have shown you full results. These are your point standings heading into next week's race, as we will be going short track racing for the first time this season at the world's fastest half mile. It's Bristol Motor Speedway, and we're going to have the rules package there as well. So that'll be a very interesting race nonetheless. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you guys next week as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.